Howdy Beans, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the Howdy Beans podcast. I'm your host, Luke the Elder Bean. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're all good. As per usual, today we're going to be looking at Predator, Killer of Killers, the anthology movie. I am so freaking excited about this movie. After watching Prey a while ago and being blown away by that, I just can't wait to see what's next for the Yucha, for the Predator franchise going forward. So I'm absolutely ecstatic. But before we get into all of that, I want to do a bit of housekeeping because I like to keep my house nice and clean. And it needs to be clean because if the Predator's coming around, I've got to set traps. I've got to set booby traps. I've got to rig this house to blow. So make sure that you follow me on X at howdybeans_pod. If you listen to this on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And finally, if you listen to this on Spotify, don't forget to give me a follow as well as rate the podcast 5 stars. So as I mentioned, we're looking at Predator, Killer of Killers. Like I said, I'm incredibly hyped. Prey blew me away. I did a review for that, I think in my first or second year of podcasting. And I love that movie. It was brilliant. It was brutal. It was everything that I wanted from a Predator series. I've been saying this for ages. I think Predator is such an untapped genre. It's like we keep going to the modern times of like what was so good about Predator is the fact of if you just go back in time a bit, not a lot, just you could put the Predator in any time zone and it would work. And for ages, you know, as fans, we've been saying we want Vikings, we want samurai, we want to see, I don't know, like a World War One, World War Two sort of battle. You know, we want to see a ninja versus a Predator versus a Yucha. You know, we want to see these crew, like a pirate, like that'd be one. That'd be cool, like pirates or something like that, just facing a Predator and just to see what would happen. It kind of reminds me of Deadliest Warrior. I don't know if anybody ever watched the Deadliest Warrior TV show that was on years and years ago, but it was just the idea that you'd get like, I don't know, you'd get pirates against samurai, and then they would go through all of the weapons that pirates have. They'd get all the weapons that samurai would have, and then they would test them all out, and then they would put that data into a simulation, and then out at the end of the simulation, you'd get like a recreation of who would win. And then sometimes this would win and they would win. And it was a brilliant show and I absolutely loved it. But I want that, but on the level of somebody against a Predator and to see who would win or like how far would they get and how brutal would they get? Because again, weapons and armor and like limitations of the time period. So I've wanted a movie or series like this for years since I was little, and I finally got it in a movie, and I am so hyped for it. Because it is a movie and not a series, I've decided to structure my movie reviews a bit different. So usually when I do a movie review, I will talk about the production, talk about the cast, and then when I do the review, obviously I do my first impressions, the story, any like music or production, anything like that, give you my overall thoughts, bit of trivia at the end, and I'll wrap you up nicely and send you home. But what I want to do today is a little bit different. So what I decided to do to make it a bit more fun and interesting for me, and hopefully for you guys listening at home, because it's set into 3 movies. The first movie being the Viking movie, then we've got the Samurai movie, then we've got the World War II Navy movie. What I'm going to do, I'm separating it. So I'm going to go off and I'm going to watch the Viking movie first. Then when I've watched it, pause the movie, come here, give you my thoughts and feelings on the Viking movie, and then same for the Samurai, same for World War II, and then we'll give my overall thoughts. But before I do my overall thoughts, once I've watched the first 3 movies and reviewed them, I will go back and watch the movie again from start to finish without any breaks. So I'll probably watch it twice to give myself the full sort of idea of what's going on. So there's no sort of there's no stop-start anymore. Then give them overall thoughts, and then we'll do a nice end bow. So that's how I'm going to structure this review. So let's get into the synopsis, shall we? So the plot summary is quite simple. It goes, 3 of the fiercest warriors in human history become prey to the ultimate killer of killers. That's all I need. I don't need to know any more than that. Like that, to me, is enough. That's enough to get me hyped. This movie is a prequel to Prey. And the sequel, which is Predator Badlands, comes out later this year, which I'm hoping to go cinemas and going to watch, and then I'll review it for the podcast. But we're eating good, apparently. From what I've heard about this movie, it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's loved by critics. Everybody who's watched it in the podcasting space and online, I've all said how brilliant it is. So without further ado, I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to go off onto Disney Plus now, give the movie a watch, and then when we come back, I will break down each individual movie, and it's going to be absolutely brilliant. I have no doubt about that. So I'll see you in a second. So I've just finished watching part one. It's called The Shield. This is the Viking story. This follows Ursula. Honestly, first impressions is absolutely brilliant. Like, I don't know how to put it into words. Just how awesome this is. The idea, like, okay, let's take it back to basics, because I feel like if I go this direction, I'm going to ramble a bit. The idea of having an anthology series, and granted, yes, I've only watched the one, but a series where you get a predator, you get a Yaucha against a sort of historical badass, like a Viking, like a samurai, like a World War II sort of navy pilot. You could do it against a Spartan, these sort of things. The idea and concept of that is something that I've always wanted. And then to finally get it and to see it in action, whether it be animated or live action, I don't care. To get it how we have is absolutely brilliant. And the idea to start this off with the Vikings is visionary. So the story, I'm not going to get into spoilers because it's only short and I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But the story follows Ursula, her group, her tribe of Vikings, and her son. And basically, she's going to get revenge against somebody. And again, I'm trying to be as vague as possible. And as they go to get revenge, just as sort of victory is in hand, they've done it, the predator shows up. And what I love about this is the fact of, even though it's only short, it shows the predator being the predator. Like, there are many moments when the predator could easily just take them out. But where's the fun in that? Where's the sport? Because that's what it is. It's sport. It's hunting. So you actually see the predator. He watches them. He takes notes of them. He's watching all the battles that they've been through, how they fight, so that at the last minute, when victory is assured and they've won, and any other time it'd be the end of the story, he turns up and he just destroys them. Like, some of them really beefy, strong, like badass Vikings. Like, you've seen these Vikings fight. They can fight. They're highly skilled, highly trained. And he rags them around the room like they were dolls, like they were nothing. Ursula, the main character, she does things with a shield. Well, two shields, by the way, that you never see done. Like, it's like Captain America if he was evil on steroids. You know what I mean? Like, she was chopping fools in half, slicing heads off, cutting arms off with broken shields, but she was doing it. It was absolutely biblical, And I'm all for it. I'm like, it's gruesome, it's visceral, it's so brutal, but again, it should be because it's Vikings as well. It's Predator, and then when the Predator shows up, he's a big hulking mother fudger. He's huge. He's missing an arm. He's got this big, like, welding thing on his arm. So, like, he cranks it up, and as he cranks it up, it makes like a shockwave. And they really missed the tricks. It would have been incredible if he cranked that thing up and then puffed it in front of somebody, like went to go hit them, and the shockwave comes out and it just rips them of all their flesh. That didn't happen, but that would have been an awesome visual. But either way, like, he's punching, like, you get this big guy with axe comes at him, and he literally just punches him in the face. His body goes one way, but he's the face is just in his hand. He's got the guy's head in his hand. Like, he literally punches the guy's block off. It's brutal. The guy's huge. He's a Hulk. And I'm like, like gobsmacked. My floor, like my mouth was on the floor. Like, I can't put words together. I am just in awe. And then, again, I don't want to spoil it, but they have their fight, and it's kind of made me laugh. This is the second female to go up against the Predator to be not badly damaged. It's like every other time somebody's gone up against the Predator, it's been a dude, and he's got him cut up, he's got almost killed, but like, he saves the day and all that. Whereas you got the main character in Prey and Ursula in this one, neither of them, they put up a good fight. Neither of them get a nick or a cut. There's no going in head blazing and that. There's being clever. Like, there's a moment where, like, she's underneath this ice sheet and, she's staying still, and she doesn't know that the Predator can see, in sort of ultraviolet, and he can see heat signatures. She doesn't know this. So she's got this, like, little bubble of air, the oxygen, that she's slowly sucking at to keep her sort of breathing under the water, and she's staying still. The Predator's looking at her, it walks away. So she slowly creeps up, and then she's running, like, around this like frozen lake, and that there's ships and like the predators kind of getting a bit angry, getting a bit carried away, a bit boisterous, blasting all these ships away. She's not behind any of them. And then she's very cleverly defeats it, like drowns it. But like it's not at the end, like they're fighting underwater as well. And she's just badass. And again, I'm not going to spoil the ending. I'm not going to do it because I don't want to ruin it for anybody. But like the ending of this one, it leaves up for questions of like, where the hell does this go? Where is she? What happened? And I imagine in the next one, and then in the next one, and at the end, it's all going to answer it. But it leaves me open of like, that was awesome. That was freaking awesome. Like, I want more of that, and I know I'm going to get more of that. So the next one is going to be the samurai story. But generally, it reminds me of like Love, Monsters and Robots. I think that's what it's called, the anthology series on Netflix, where it's like short little stories, short little contained stories on sort of anything really. And I think that's great. And it's one of those where it's like I could have happily had a whole animated movie or short series based just on these characters, of getting to know them, getting to know each one of them, and the predator slowly starting to hunt them down, and then the big fight. So it left me wanting more, and I do want more from this series, but I would love more from Ursula, her story, and the Vikings. So it does a brilliant job there. So I'm really hyped to see what this samurai short film is going to be. So I'm going to go off and continue watching, and I'm incredibly pumped and excited. I can't wait. Let's go. Well, this one was on a whole another level. So this one, The Sword, the samurai short film, like there's no dialogue whatsoever. There's a little bit at the beginning and there's a tiny bit at the end, right? And then for the rest of it, it's like classic samurai sort of movie. It's all done through visual. It's all done through music. The story is told through facial features, expressions. There's no dialogue whatsoever, but the action is incredible. There's comedic moments as well. I'm trying to be as vague as possible. So this story, like I said, has no dialogue, but you have these two young lads, two brothers, and their dad is like a samurai sort of king, chieftain, whatever. And he kind of gets them to fight each other. And the one brother like lays down his sword, is like, no, I won't like fight my brother. Like, again, this is done with no dialogue. This is all told through facial expressions. Puts the sword down, was like, no, I will not fight. The other brother kind of starts to puts the sword down, but then sees the sort of the disgust on the father's face. And then when the other brother is not sort of expecting it, and the father's got his back turned, he runs at him and tries to sort of take him out, make him yield with like his katana. The brother, again, surprised attack by this, is hurt, like doesn't really expect it at all. And then the one brother leaves a scar on his face, and the other brother gets up, he runs away, and then 20 years later, the two brothers have grown up. The one brother that ran away, he's now like a ninja, and he breaks into the compound, sort of the palace where the brother and like the dad has like just died, and like the brother, like he's the new sort of ruler. And it's brilliant how it goes in, because the predator's already there. So I would imagine the predator is there to take out the son, to take out sort of the other brother, because now he's the leader, and he's watching, he's skulking. Again, he's being a predator, he's watching, he's about to like strike, but then he notices this guy come in. And what I love about this as well is the fact of he watches this guy, the other brother, be a ninja. He watches him sneak around as he take guys out silently with like hardly any sort of noise. As he climbs up the walls, the predator's right there next to him, but the guy is not paying attention. He doesn't know, he can't see him because the predator's cloaked. So he's watching him climb walls. He's watching him jump from buildings to buildings. There's a really funny moment where the one guard sees him, and he's got like a bell, and he's got his big wooden mallet, and he's got to like obviously strike the bell to let like the guards know there's an intruder. And there's a funny moment where like he takes the one guy out with like does an arrow in his hand, so he can't do it. Then the other guy sees, and he's got to get like his chain, throws that around the other guy he's holding in. Then another guy comes and he falls off. And it's that moment. He's like, it's really amazingly choreographed. Like the one guy manages, who's got the arrow in his hand with his hand, manages to get the mallet, tries to swing it, but before he could swing it, the ninja brother pushes the one guard in his hand towards it. So instead of hitting the bell, hit the guy with the mallet, hits the other guy in the face. Absolutely hilarious. All for it just to kind of for naught, because there's another guard on the other side who sees all this and starts ringing the bell, and he's like, oh, and it's that look, as that expression of, oh God, and he just drops the guys and doesn't bother. And then again, by all this, the Predator's watching all this. He sees all this happen, and then the ninja brother, he gets in. He puts down a smoke bomb, which goes all green, kills all the guards, and it's just him and his brother, and it's an epic battle between his brother. And again, while they're fighting, while they're jumping up rafters and taking incredible like choreographed fighting and shots at each other, he's there just watching in the room, observing. And then again, I'm not really going to sort of spoil what happens next, but the ninja brother, like he's got what he wants, and there's this incredible scene where he gets the samurai brother down, and he cuts his face in the exact same place where he got his other brother when he was younger, the ninja brother. Again, it's really confusing without names, I know, sorry. And then you can see in the ninja brother's face, that's all he wanted. He didn't want to kill him. He didn't want revenge. It was just the fact of he wanted to hurt him like he hurt me, sort of thing. It's like, I just wanted to give you what you gave me, a scar, because you could tell that at that moment, that was it. He was yielding. He was like, that's it. I just wanted to cut your face, done. And that's all I wanted. And I am sure he would have walked away at that stage, and that would have been it. Bygones be bygones. But again, it doesn't happen. The Predator shows up, and he has to fight him. And he again, what I love is that the Predator, the hunted, becomes the hunted, and it's brilliant because again, he's a ninja, so he's trying his best to kind of get out of the way and hide. But obviously, the Yucha, the Predator, can see him because he's taking off heat, so he ends up getting distracted by these guards. And as the Predator's distracted by the guards, the guy hides in the rafters and he watches, and he sees how what weapons he has and how he does it. He's got this incredible spear thing, which I'm sure we've seen before in Prey, where he spears a guy and then the blade opens up wide, like it goes from like a straight edge to like a Y shape and just splits a guy in half. And he's got like a chain thing on his arm that he spits out, and it goes through like guards, and then as he brings it back, he turns it into like a chainsaw and just rips and shreds as it comes back. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to talk about the Yucha and the technology in a minute. And he's watching this. He's learning, adapting. Like the hunter has become the hunted. He's watching the Predator as the Predator watched him. It's incredible role reversal. So that when they have their big fight at the end, he gets stuck. He knows whatever the Predator's going to throw at him. He knows when he throws the spear at him that he's dodged it, but he needs to duck out the way and move out the way of it because it's going to split open and it will catch him on his side and split him in two. It's this brilliant learning sort of moment, and I love that. And again, I don't really want to get into spoilers because it's a pretty incredible action-packed story, and I've only really hinted at like the top soil of it. But what I want to talk about for this bit is it really makes me laugh in the Predator community when these Predator movies come out, that people moan about the different designs of the Predator. People go, oh, the first design was the best one. It's never got any better. It's terrible for everyone. And I've never understood that, because at the end of the day, they're a Yucha. It's a species. The Predator species, the Yucha, right? They're still a species, which means, like the humans, there's going to be different varieties of them. There's going to be the smaller ones. There's going to be the taller ones. There's going to be the average size ones. You're going to have ones that have like horns on their faces. You're going to have ones that don't have horns on their faces. But, again, we've had all different iterations of a Yucha in, all the movies that we've had, since the very beginning. And they've all looked different. And what I love about it is the fact of, they all have different weaponry because they're different tribes. Again, they're a warring race, so of course they're going to have different tribes. So the idea that each one of them tribes looks a bit different, not just the way they look, but the way their armor looks and the way their technology is. So instead of, again, having the blasters, they have spears and stuff like that. And again, they're constantly evolving, they're constantly changing. So I've never understood why people moan at the fact of the predators look different every time. Of course, they're going to look different. They're ever evolving. They're ever changing as a species and in terms of technology. You know, if you kill one of them, they learn from that. It goes, oh, he killed him because the cloaking technology wasn't very good in this temperature, or when it hits water, or whatever, or it lost because it was outsmarted by this. Like, they learn by that, and it goes, okay, we're just going to improve our technology so that next time that's not going to be an issue. And I love that. I find it absolutely fascinating. It's one of the things I love about the Yucha is that they're constantly evolving, constantly changing. And again, this is set in the past. This is set in like the time of the samurai. So this is centuries ago. So of course, you know, even though they're older than we are, they're still very primitive sort of weapons. So they probably don't have plasma weapons, or it's probably the fact of that tribe of Yucha don't use, you know, plasma weapons. Maybe they just use more hand physical sort of combat, blades and stuff like that. Again, I don't really know, because we don't actually know a lot about the Yucha culture other than what you've gotten through a few books and the movies. So it's all up in the air. But again, I love that. So I love how this guy, he fits. Whereas like the Viking one, he's a big brute and he has a big sort of mallet thing on his hand that, like, you know, does the shockwaves. That makes sense, because you're going to want to send a big guy against, you know, big Vikings. And not that a smaller predator couldn't do it. I'm sure they could, but it makes sense. It fits the profile. It makes the same for this predator. He's tall and skinny, which means he's quick, he's agile, he's like a ninja. He's skulking about, he's being, you know, he's watching the ninja brother, and his weapons are like spears and blade arms and like get over here sort of like chains and things like that. Like, that's brilliant. I want to see different, because how boring would it be if you see the same Yayucha take out loads of different, it'd be like, I've seen this before, I've seen his weaponry, I want to see something different each time. And you get that, the brutality, the creativity of the killing, of the weapons, of the rip and the tear. I'm just enthralled, to be honest. And again, this one ends on a twist where it's like, I don't know where this is going, but I don't care. I'm along for the ride. And I can't wait to sit and watch this all together in one long shot after I've done with the World War II one next. But yeah, this one, brilliant. The sword, the shield, brilliant. This one, the sword, the samurai one, absolutely brilliant too. I can't wait to see what's next. So I'm going to go off and watch it, and I'll let you all know my thoughts in a second. Woo! So I've just finished watching the last one, the World War II story called The Bullet with John Torres. And I watched the ending as well because I couldn't help it. The way this film goes, that when one ends, the another one starts straight away. Like, it just fades to black, then starts. And it's one of those where this one ended and then straight away went straight into the ending. So I won't be talking about the ending at all. Even though it's a brilliant ending, and I can't go into details, but it answers a question I've always had. And I am so glad that we finally got an answer to it. Oh, I am as well. And well, maybe I'll talk about it in my overall thoughts when I watch the movie altogether, but I don't want to get ahead of myself. That'll be for later. But for now, that story, the story with the World War II, I was a bit apprehensive, to tell you the truth. I didn't know how a story like that would work in the concept of the Predators. Because again, I saw the trailer and I thought, a pilot, like, how's that going to work? Superior, like a flying saucer, basically. A superior flying device against World War II biplanes and things like that. I couldn't see how it would work, where like a samurai and a Viking made sense because it's no technology. It is just blades, it's weapons, it's using brute force and sneaking and stuff like that. Like, I can see how they work, whereas like the idea of taking, planes and a pilot, I wasn't sure on. But it works. It works really, really well. Again, this Predator is different. This Predator is I would even say, it goes far. He's like a pirate. He's got like a plate over his eye, and the weapons again is different. Again, I've always wondered what the Predator ships were like in combat, because you don't really get to see them fight much. They kind of just fly around or get blown up in most of the movies, so you don't actually get to see them actually doing anything. So to finally get to see one of them, or a variant of one, actually doing something, and the weapons are as just as intricate as the weapons that they have on their arms. It's brilliant. You've got one where he shoots out this like a hook and a chain that goes through heat sinks. It's like a guided missile, but instead of being a missile, it's like a giant hook that goes straight through the engine, hooks this guy straight through his chest, goes straight to the engine, then literally pulls the comes back to sender, pulls the engine out. Engine then is clamped and pulls through the guy, rips the plane in shreds. There was another one that was a net that works a lot like the net in like AVP, which kind of, as it gets thrown on you, it screws itself in, that kind of slices you. Again, so there's one like that. It slices the plane in two. There was one where it was like a disc that once it clapped onto the plane, it got like these tendrils went across and like were chopping the plane in two. And I was like, that's brilliant. And it gets really well choreographed. You know, the character of John is really, really interesting. Torres, how like he's just inherited this feeling from his dad, where like he's in tune with engines, and that he can just feel when an engine is right and stuff like that. And I love the idea of that. And I was sitting there thinking, God, I would love to see what this would be like with like modern like airplanes, like fighter planes and stuff like that. Like, would it be the same? Like, or would it be the fact of it's not about what plane you've got, it's not about what firepower you've got, it's about being smarter. It's about outwitting it. It's like outwitting the ultimate predator. You know what I mean? Like, I just find that absolutely fascinating. And again, the whole arc of this story is quite interesting. And like I said, how it leads in to the ending, which I can't talk about here because I don't want to spoil it at all, because the ending is incredible and so well done, and it makes sense, and all the twists and at the ending of the other ones all come together as one, and it's a brilliant story. It's a brilliant payoff. And like I said, it answered a question that I've had for a long, long time, which I can't say, because if I do say, it will ruin the end. So I'm not gonna say it here. I might say it when I get to the overall thoughts. But overall, my sort of my feelings on this one, the Bullet, I like it. Again, I prefer the shield and I prefer the sword, the ones that come before it. But how this one links in and wraps up sort of the story and how it leads into the end is absolutely brilliant. And also, the names make sense. She is called the Shield because she uses the shield. The ninja, he's the sword because he uses a sword. And then John Torres, he's called the Bullet. And again, I know you're probably saying, Luke, that's common sense. Obviously, it's called that. You know, you're connecting things that don't need to be connected. Like, no, you don't understand. Those names are significant not just for the characters and for the weapons they use, but for how and what they do at the end of the story. Which again, I can't say, but it's very clever. And I sat there, and when I noticed it at the end, I was like, oh, that's smart. That's very smart. But yeah, I'm gonna watch this film again from start to finish without stopping. And then I'm going to come back and give my overall thoughts. But as of now, sword, shield, bullet, all brilliant, great. And yeah, so I'm going to go back and watch this movie again from start, and then I'll give my sort of overall full impression. So I'll see you in a second. Right, and welcome back, everybody. So, I've now watched this movie twice. I've watched it 2 times, and it's even better the second time. You know, there's no stopping, no breaks, just watching it how it's meant to be watched from start to finish. It's brilliant, it's brutal, it's awesome. What I was going to do originally with this overall thoughts is I was going to get into the spoiler side of it, talk about the ending a bit more, as well as my overall thoughts. But before I do that, I want to do something because I don't know when I'll get another chance to do this. I've had an idea in my head of the perfect perfect Predator movie. Like, what would be the best scenario, the best situation to put a predator in. And being a lover of history, there was one situation in history in World War One that I thought would be absolutely brilliant. So I wanted to share with you with my idea or concept of how it would work. Right. So a bit of history for you. So during World War One, in the winter of 1916, on the Eastern Front, German and Russian troops reportedly declared a temporary ceasefire to deal with the packs of wolves that were attacking the soldiers and instructing operations. Reports suggest that the wolves were attacking both wounded and healthy soldiers. Obviously, the threat was like hungry wolves driven by the distributed food chain due to the war were known to attack both wounded and healthy soldiers. This led to an alliance faced with a common threat. The Russian and the German commanders agreed to a temporary ceasefire and joint hunting efforts. As for the hunt, the soldiers went from both sides reportedly worked together using various methods like poison, rifle fire, and even machine guns to kill the wolves. The impact that this had was the wolf population in the area was significantly reduced, and the temporary truce allowed both sides to continue their war effort. So that is my idea on concept, kind of like All Quiet on the Eastern Front, what they did with Prey. I don't want English sort of things. I'm happy to watch this movie with subtitles. Set it during World War One. The Germans and the Russians, it doesn't matter what side you choose, have both sides fight each other, and then the wolves start attacking. So have that happen as it is. But during the chaos of the wolves attacking, they get attacked by a predator. The predator comes in, the Ucha comes in, and he starts taking out troops from both sides of the trenches. And they have to come together, the Russians and the Germans, to fight the predator. And they use the wolves. So they bait the predator into be attacked by wolves. And you can have an awesome moment. So if you ever watched the movie The Grey with Liam Neeson, where that he's in a group of survivors from a plane crash, and one by one, these wolves just take them out, because wolves are huge, right? People forget how big wolves are. Wolves are massive, right? They get taken out by one by these wolves, and there's some incredible scenes in it. Imagine that, a pack of wolves taking on a predator. Where he's getting jumped on and being attacked by all sides by these, and then he's fighting them, and then you've got the humans shooting as well, machine gun fire, hunting, trying to use poison, using traps, and also trying to survive this harsh winter. So you've got the harsh winter, you've got wolves, you've got the predator, you've got somewhat modern weaponry. I just feel like this would be the perfect setting of what they could do. And then at the end of it, again, like they did in real life, at the end of this fighting, at the end, once both sides have eradicated the wolves enough where they were no longer a problem, they kind of just ended the ceasefire. Like, they shook hands, well done, thank you. They went back to their trenches, and the war carried on. You could end the movie like that, where it's the fact of we've dealt with the wolves, we have dealt with the predator. Shake hands, well done. We're going to get back to it now, and it becomes like a myth of the war. Another one of those stories, tall tales that are like, it didn't happen, but it did. That sort of thing. Like, there's so much that can be done with that one time period that I feel like would be an awesome idea. And this is my idea. So, like, if David Trachtenberg, the guy who made Predators, if he's listening to this again, please, this take the idea. I don't care. You don't have to pay me. Take the idea. If Hulu or Disney is listening, take the idea, because I feel like I want to see that in real life. I feel like it'd be a brilliant idea and setting for a Predator movie. So that's my idea, my concept that I wanted to basically push here. I feel like it'd be great. But this is the thing, you could put, and this is what this movie shows, that you can put the Predator basically anywhere. You can put him against anybody, and it would be a great movie. And I would love more of these anthology sort of things. Like, I get at the end of this one, which we'll get into spoilers in a minute. I get at the end of this movie that it sets up the idea of more of what happens after. Like, when you kill a predator, what happens after? Which is a question I've been having for years, since I was young. But it also leaves it open of like, well, we could do another Killer of Killers. We could do more of these anthologies of like setting other people throughout history against the Predator. Again, I would like my idea to be live action, but if they decided to do it in animation, I wouldn't mind either, because I feel like it's a great setting, a great idea, great concept. It's true. It's historical. It actually did happen, and all you're doing is you're just throwing a predator in the midst, like, because it makes sense if they've been around for so long, if they've been watching us throughout time and hunting us, it would make sense that they were there during World War One. Again, as this one shows, they were there during World War Two, shooting down Navy planes. Why weren't they there during World War One, during the most gruesome battles? Like, you could do World War Two Stalingrad for example, where like bullets are so scarce that soldiers are running into battle with empty rifles. If they are actually running with rifles, majority of them, there was that many people dying and that many arms and was getting lost in the fighting, that most people were being sent off the boat with nothing. You know what I mean? So like that would be a fantastic, interesting idea and concept to go into. But yeah, I just wanted to pitch the idea because I thought it would be absolutely brilliant. As for sort of the spoilers of this movie, so again, if you haven't watched the film, by all means, stop and go watch the film now. But again, I've been talking for 36 minutes now, so you've had enough time to go watch the film. But how this movie ends, I think is absolutely brilliant. So at the end of each episode, you have a twist, and that twist is at the end of Ursula's story, she kind of comes out of a dream state, and she's got a collar around her. You can tell that she's in some sort of high-tech prison, and there's another guy in the background. You don't see him, and then we get the next episode, the sword, the samurai movie that happens. At the end of that one, you find that that guy was the ninja, was the bloke in that one, and then it pulls out again, and then there's a guy with dog tags, and then you've got the bullet story, the World War II Navy pilot story. And then when his story ends, he basically gets abducted, and then it kind of explains as to how they're all together, which is a really cool, interesting concept. And then at that point, I thought, okay, it's going to end. The music's kicked in, the drums have kicked in, the da-da-dun-da-da, like that's kicked in. I thought, here we go. It's going to end now, but it doesn't. It keeps going for like another 24 minutes where they're on the planet of the Yucha. They're in a giant arena. They've got collars on, and the prison door opens, and like they're bowing to them, like they're like the other predators. They're on their knees, bowing to them, sort of thing. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, what's going on? Well, where's this going? And I was thinking in my head of like, this idea that if you kill the predator, if you kill a predator, like the ultimate apex predator, it's kind of like a badge of honor, like sort of well done. And like the question I've always had since I was younger was the fact of what happens after you kill a predator? Are you hunted again? Or are you left alone? Because again, it's that thought of like, if you are capable enough to kill one of us, then you are, you are an ultimate warrior. But also at the same stage, you are the ultimate prey. Because if you're skilled enough to kill one of us, we're going to send somebody who's more skilled, or you're even more high value target. Be like, if this guy couldn't do it, or if this guy killed multiple predators, for example, then we're going to send more after you and see why, or learn from you and that sort of thing. Like, I've always had these questions, and this movie answers it as the fact of these three have been taken, they've been frozen, cryogenically frozen, we don't know for how long, been put into an arena with each other, and basically the big sort of chieftain predator comes down. He looks absolutely like, the design is incredible, the design of the planet and the design of the tech and the arena is absolutely awesome. And like the chieftain looks at him, he's like, you are like the ultimate warriors. You all now have to fight each other, and whoever survives gets to fight me. And that you all get a weapon from your tribe. So Ursula, the Viking, she obviously gets a big, massive axe. The samurai ninja dude, he gets a katana, and John, he basically gets a flintlock pistol, which actually, bit of an Easter egg, is the same flintlock pistol from Predator 2, and it's also the same pistol from Prey. So I thought that was absolutely brilliant as well. So he's obviously struggling trying to fill it because, again, it's not a gun. Well, it is a gun, but it's not like a modern gun, a semi-automatic gun. It's one you have to load with a pellet, with powdered and all that. So again, he's just got this weapon, and I'll go through the fight sort of things. I won't go into full details, but like the samurai dude, the ninja guy, he's basically like, look, we shouldn't fight with each other, and we should work with each other. The only way I managed to defeat one of them was that me and my brother worked together, and we managed to defeat them. But like none of them can understand each other because again, they're all one speaking Viking, one speaking Japanese, obviously one speaking English, so they don't understand each other. So it's that moment of they come together in like giant fighting this giant beast, which is a really cool scene. I'll skip ahead a bit because again, I won't do the battles justice. So they defeat the beast. They finally decide to work with each other, and they sort of make their escape. They get past the chieftain, get onto the ship. John flies the ship, and they all get on and go. They get then. The same technology that was used in the last episode, the bullet, the big chain thing that grabs on, Yuucha shoots one of those, grabs onto the ship. Ursula, absolutely badass, and like this, such character development. Because what I love about Ursula, like I'll be honest, I think she's one of my favorites out of all of this, is the fact of we established in such a little time how badass she is. Of like she ended up having to kill her father because she was made to, and her father said to her, sorry, avenge me, and then it sets up to the time of when she goes to get the revenge that she's a badass, she's a warrior, she leads their people, she has their people's respect, and she leads an army all the way across the lands, and she finds the guy, finally kills him. Just before she kills him, or a little bit before, she basically says to her son, if I die today, avenge me. So she has the battle, and obviously as explained in the Shield what happens then, and then she wakes up and she's still be like, she's like, kill me, I don't want to live, I don't want to die, but I have to die in battle because I have to go to Valhalla. If I don't die in battle, I won't get to see my son Anders. And it's a really heartbreaking scene. And when they're on the ship to fly away and they've got the chain that's connected to them, she basically looks back to them and she goes, don't avenge me. And she gets her shield, slides down the chain, breaks the connection. So John and the ninja guy fly off, and then she's there with the chieftain. And I think, here we go, they're going to kill her, but they keep her alive. But it's such incredible character work of like she was on a road to revenge. She even said to her son, like, if I die, avenge me. And then she gets to this point now where she's like, don't avenge me. Like, I want to go to Valhalla. Like, I'm going to die now. Don't avenge me. I'm doing it for you. Go off and live. Even though like she doesn't know them. And they don't kill her. And I just think it's so great character work. It really, really is. And like the chieftain is amazing. And like the chieftain gets up, looks at the ship going over the horizon, and he's like, let's hunt. And then all these ships just go up and chase. And then it ends. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. But what makes it even better, what really puts the cherry on top of this brilliant, incredible, gory, visceral, everything that I've ever wanted Predator cake, is that there's a small sort of cutscene that starts to play. So what it turns out that Ursula, they didn't kill her. They cryo freeze her again, and they pan down to her like she's in this little pod frozen, and then the camera pulls back. As it pulls back, there are probably millions, probably billions of these pods everywhere in this big facility that all got frozen things in. I would imagine probably some are human, and you go past one and there's this creature that I don't even know what creature it is. It's not an alien, it's not a xenomorph, but it's some sort of creature that's obviously killed a predator, and is basically being saved. Why is it being saved? I don't know. And then you go past another one and it looks like a human, like a male, but again, it's so frosted. I did pause the screen. I couldn't make out who it was. And then as we get just a little bit further, there's one more, and it zooms into this casket, and it's the woman from Prey. It's the woman. From the big. Like, I can't remember her name now, but it's the woman from the movie Prey. And I saw that. I'm like, she's still alive. Like, because at the end of that movie, they look up and they see the ships coming down, and that when that movie ends, if you watch the credits, there's like cave drawings of the events, like they come down, they're above her, and that sort of thing. And I'm thinking to myself, so like there could be a potential Prey sequel. We can see this character again. There is more that there can be done with this character, and I'm like, I can't wait. Like I loved her in her movie. So if they do a Prey 2, or if they do more of these anthology things, or maybe if it links in with Badlands or whatever, it just sets up this idea that anybody who has faced a predator can show back up again. So we can get Arnold Schwarzenegger back if we wanted. We can get why am I blanking on his name now? Haruk, I think, from Predator 2. He can come back. We could bring back so many characters from any of the Predator movies. Even what's the Predators movie? Who was it made by now? The guy that made Spy Kids and that. I don't know. It's completely gone out made. But like those characters can come back. Like the pointers I'm trying to make, even though I'm having a bit of a brain fog here, maybe because I'm really excited and full of love and passion for this franchise. It's just anybody could come back. Anybody that has seen. And like I said, it answers the question, because I'd always wondered like what happens. And it turns out if you kill a predator, you are now sort of you are bait or target for being abducted and used for, I don't know, maybe for use for entertainment, maybe used for training things. Maybe it's, I don't know, they'd be like, well, if you're good enough to kill one of us, then we're going to abduct you, maybe experiment on you, see what genetic traits you've got, and maybe we can, because they did set it up in one of the Predator movies, like they're genetically modifying themselves, so that still could be canon. Maybe again, it depends which way Dan Trachtenberg wants to go with his sort of his Predator universe, if he wants to carry on what's already come before, because he's already paid homage to it, or does he want to make his own law? Again, it doesn't, I don't really know, but it does lead to me, the idea and concept of this, maybe I'm thinking a bit too big brained, but it leads into the concept of the last Predators movie, when they had, where the idea that there was Predator, sort of Yayucha sympathizers that were sympathized with the human race, sympathized with us, and wanted to have, like, gave us that Predator suit at the end of the movie, which wasn't the original ending for that film, by the way. But again, I'm not going to get into it, because that's, or maybe when I talk about the movie I'll get into it. But they give us the Predator suit in a way to kind of fight back against the Yayucha. So again, it could go that. It could be the fact of there could be an offshoot of the Yucha that were like, well, I just don't think it's fair that we've got all these life forms in cold storage, and we're making them fight or whatever we're doing with them, because again, we don't really know at the moment. We can assume they're making them fight each other so that they can fight the Ultimate Warrior, possibly. That's that's one situation we have seen, but what else we don't know yet. But yeah, you can understand why that would make sense, and then it would lead into other things as well, and other characters coming back. So I'm just excited. As you can tell, I'm full of hype, and my brain's going crazy because I want to see more. And if anything, this anthology movie has done one thing and one thing only. It's got me hyped for whatever comes next, and that is the main thing of what this should have done. Is it needs to get you hyped for Badlands, because let's be honest with ourselves, Prey was brilliant, but I don't think many people went to go see it. That movie should have come out in the cinemas. It shouldn't have been on streaming, and I think Disney realized that. They realized that straight away. Of all the good press that movie got, it should have went into cinemas. But because it didn't go into cinemas, not everybody has Disney Plus. Not everybody has a way of seeing it. I know a lot of people who are Predator fans who have never seen it because they have no way of seeing it. So, I hope that Badlands is successful. I hope it does well. It's going to theaters. I want to go see it in theaters, and I hope people go watch it in theaters. But I feel like what this needed to do was to get you interested in wanting to see more, and it does. So that is my hope, that Badlands does well. And who knows, like, if you watch the trailer Badlands, there's Wayland Yutani. One of the main characters, she is a Yutani sort of android. How does it link in? It's in post-apocalyptic future. It's Mad Max. Have we destroyed ourselves, or did the Yucha do it? Did they go to war with us, sort of thing, or they just happen to go away, come back, and we've already destroyed ourselves? Like, these are the questions. Is it Earth? Again, I don't know. I'm not sure, to be honest. Is it Earth? Is it another planet? Is it a human colony? It doesn't matter where it is. The setting itself is interesting. It just leaves it open for more. And there is potentiality where we could lead into an AVP movie, another Aliens vs Predator films, which could be brilliant as well. So, yeah, I do apologize. I went on a bit of a TED talk. That I just really love Predators. I really love this franchise. I love the characters. I love the idea behind the Yucha. I'm just fascinated with this species and what potentiality they have and what underutilized potentiality. Like, we always set it on Earth, apart from Predators, which was set on another planet, but it's always set on Earth. Like, I just, there's so much more and so many timelines that can be used, but it's not, and it's just a shame. So I'm glad that Prey was made and it did so well that we could get this, and and this is doing really, really well. The reviews are brilliant. It's got a 97 on Rotten Tomatoes, so 97% of people who've watched it loved it. It's doing really well. I know a lot of people in the podcasting space have listened to it, absolutely love it. So my hope is, with its success and its high ratings, that people will then go off and watch Badlands. And if it's good or bad, I don't know. My fingers are crossed that it's good. But whatever that movie ends up being, whatever it leads into, or however it ends, will then lead into more answers here, and that more answers of what the Utes are doing, what they're planning, and then potentially an AVP movie. Because I know they're currently shooting Alien Romulus 2, so I don't know if they link in. Both directors have both said they want to, work together on an AVP movie. So again, who knows if both movies link in? I don't know. Either way, I'm excited. I am just pumped. I'm hyped. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. As you can tell, I'm a huge Predator fan. This movie is absolutely brilliant. Go watch it. Go give it a go. And yeah, so that's about it, really. So I'm just going to deflate a bit because I'm just happy. Thank you very, very much for listening. I've been your host, Luke the Elder Bean. Make sure, again, if you like this and you want to see more from me, then by all means, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify, don't forget to leave me a follow and a 5-star rating. And also, you can leave a comment down below now on Spotify. So any feedback or any sort of things you want to talk about, by all means, put them down below. You can follow me on Twitter or X at howdybeans_pod. And that's about it, really. So again, thank you very, very much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk about something that I love so, so much. And I can't wait to do it again for Badlands. And maybe, just maybe, I'll talk about the original Predator movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. But more than likely, I'll do it anyway. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. I've been your host, Luke the Elder Bean, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.